Here's a Yorkshire childhood, chapter 10, entitled Grandad. The embankment led to a main road, and he knew it led all the way to his village, as he remembered trundling along it on an old-fashioned bus. He decided to keep track of the cars that sped by and to count how many shot past him before he lost count, to keep occupied. He was halfway home before he got to 50. It was tiring remembering them all, as they seemed to come quicker and quicker. By the time he'd arrived home, he'd got to over 100, and he had started to get confused. True enough, his dad was still rummaging under the bonnet. He had rock and roll music blaring out from his trusty old radio. "Hi, Daddy," he shouted above the din. He had to repeat himself 3 times before he was heard. "Hi, son," his dad said. Smiling. "Have you had a good day?" "Yes," said Josh, and then he proceeded to tell him of his adventures, but kept the train story quiet. "Fancy egg and chips, son?" "Yes, please," said Josh with a grin. This needs a little explaining. This was their favourite meal. They had it 6 days a week, all except Sundays, where they walked to the local pub for Sunday lunch and a shandy. They had a chicken coop in the garden and an endless supply of eggs. It was usually scrambled eggs for breakfast every day too, and Josh tucked into his meal like lightning. He was famished. "Steady on, son, you'll get a bellyache," his dad said sternly. "Guess where we're going tomorrow?" Tom said. "Where?" said Josh, his eyes wide with expectation. "To see your granddad," his dad said. "Great," said Josh. He loved his granddad, even though he drank like a chimney and smoked like a fish, or something like that. His granddad lived in a small bungalow that was cosy, but very untidy. He was an aspiring writer, and his floor was always littered with balls of paper and ashtrays overflowing. It was a miracle there wasn't a fire. He'd been writing for 50 years, but he'd never got anywhere, and he wouldn't show anyone anything he'd written. Every now and then, he'd throw a ball of paper at the wall and swear, and then carry on typing. He never tidied up, as he said that chaos inspired creativity. Tom and Josh knocked loudly on the front door, and his granddad opened it slowly, in his bright purple dressing gown and peering at them through round spectacles. Come in, he said, "the coffee's on." They inched their way inside, and they tried not to step on the balls of paper that littered the floor. It wasn't easy. They sat down on a brown dusty sofa, and a cloud of dust rose up as they did so. "Dusting is for wimps," he said, smiling, as he handed them their steaming hot coffee. They talked about the weather and the usual stuff, and then Tom asked him how his new book was going.